Do you often feel lonely, or are you actively seeking for a real connection with someone in order to fill the empty void inside you? Well, in today's video, I will be showing you techniques that can help you cope with your feeling of isolation. So hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be showing you my coping techniques on how to deal with isolation. Well, I hope you all had a good day. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to all of my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing and thank you so much for supporting me all this time. Also, if you're new, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe for new weekly video on physical and mental fitness. In continuation of my mental fitness series, today's episode will be focusing on how to deal with the feeling of loneliness and isolation. This is very important, especially for those who are struggling with adapting to this hard time. I understand that the pandemic is still going, but with the mass production of the vaccine and also the massive amount of people that have been vaccinated, everything will back to normal soon. But in the meantime, loneliness seeks to exist. This is also very difficult for those that came from either a big family or has a big circle of friends. But sometimes friendships fell apart and somehow conflicts arise within family members. Or matter of fact, when relationships are broken and when you have to face loneliness all by yourself. Facing these situations, facing loneliness and the feeling of isolation, and you become all alone, how do you deal with loneliness? Well, today I will be showing you a couple of tips and tricks on how I have been dealing with the feeling of loneliness and isolations in order for me to gain a more peaceful lifestyle. So, giving a little bit of my backstory, I came from a very small family with about 5 people, so I'm the oldest, and also I don't have much friends. I had to be independent ever since I was a teenager, so the only thing that I had to do was to become the supporter at an early age. At the age of 18, I moved to Southern California to pursue my college degree, where I began to face loneliness. The only person that I called almost every day was actually my mother, but I felt like I was bothering her by calling her every day, so I had stopped calling her. As a result, I began to seek interactions from others and with others so that I can fill the empty void inside my heart. Years passed and I started making friends in college, during college. Then I got into a relationship, a long-term relationship that had lasted for about 4 years. So during that time, I was surrounded by either my partner or the friends of my partner or my friends. Therefore, I never faced loneliness. So now, during the pandemic, I had to live all by myself and also dealing with this feeling of loneliness and isolation. So facing loneliness was very, very difficult for me. Loneliness is the desire to connect with one another. We as human beings crave a real connection with other people. We want to have conversation, we want to share memories, and most out of all, we want a company. We can still feel lonely if the connections that we have with others aren't genuine. Without the connections from others and without being able to adapt with loneliness, and also I had to deal with a very detrimental breakup. I fell into the deep sense of depression. I actively sought company from others in order to fill the empty void inside me, inside my heart and mind. I started relying on food and binging on TV shows in order to pass time. But then I started noticing that these habits aren't healthy for me, and it will only lead me to a deeper sense of depression. Then I started to seek professional help. After about a year or so, I have finally overcome the feeling of loneliness by practicing mindfulness. So here are some of my techniques that I have been practicing in order for me to cope with my feeling of isolation. So the first one is to stick with your regular routine, meaning coming up with a plan for each day to help you gain control, because we as human beings, we like to be in control. So, coming up with a regular routine. For example, if you work from 8 to 5, now it is the time to coming up with a new routine where you can work from home, waking up at a certain time, sleeping at a certain time, eating at a certain time, nourishing your body so that you can become healthy and you can overcome this pandemic, so that once you get back to normal lifestyle, you can also easily adapt into that. Also, another one is daily exercising. I started walking for about 10 to 15 minutes every 2 hours, every 3 hours or so, since I sit a lot on the computer, so I can feel the tenseness and the tension, not only in my heart but also in my brain. Because when you focus a lot on work and you pay closer attention to the computer screen, it also drains you mentally. So walking about 10 to 15 minutes a day helps you to de-stress and also release the endorphins to boost your mood. Also, while I'm on my walk, I paid close attention to nature by listening to the birds, listening to the whistling of the leaves, listening to the wind hitting the grass on the floor, rolling leaves and rocks, listening to people, saying hi to people. Also, at the same time, getting fresh air helps to brighten your mood and shake off a lot of mental health issues. You don't have to exercise, for example, doing hit workouts, or cardio workouts, or weight workouts. There are other exercises. For example, you can do Zumba, you can do dance. Sometimes, I just put on my headphones and I put on the playlist that I like and I really love on Spotify, and I just dance to it. That also is another version of exercising. Or sometimes, if you don't want to go outside, and if your room has a window or your house has a window, you can stand next to your window when the sun shines in, because once the sun hits your body and once you're able to absorb fresh air, you're able to increase your mood and boosting your mood and feeling better. Another one is starting a hobby. So before making YouTube videos, my hobby was actually exercising. I started exercising for about 30 minutes a day to help me de-stress from a long day of work or a long day of thinking. Then I started getting to a meditation. I find that meditation helps me a lot with my exercise, because it helps me to focus on my mind, my heart, and my soul while I'm exercising. So I pay closer attention to my breathing while I'm exercising, and also pay closer attention to the reps that I'm doing. But it also helps me with coping and self-reflection, reflecting on what I have done throughout the day, so that either I can improve on it or I can continue doing it so that I can be more peaceful. Also, another practice that I have been practicing is called the practice of aloneness. It's a type of meditation of learning how to befriend yourself whenever you have a feeling of loneliness. A brief description of it is, instead of looking for an outside connection, I look within myself for support. Yes, I practice aloneness, I practice meditation, but that doesn't mean that I don't get alone. I don't feel alone, because feeling alone is actually a good feeling. And that it is okay to feel alone sometimes, but when I have that feeling, it doesn't get to me like how it used to. Also, some of the hobbies that I would recommend is painting on canvas. As y'all can see behind me, I have a painting right here. So that's a painting of Newport Beach. That one is not my painting. I bought that at Five Below. And that one right here is a painting of two cats. I actually painted that as well. So tap into your creativity. Painting your house. This is a good project as well. Painting your house is, you've been working for a long time, 9 to 5, whatever. On the weekend, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of somebody. So, now being at home and not really doing a lot of things, painting your house could be, on top of your bucket list that you have been wanting to do for a long time. Gardening helps to de-stress you. Gardening helps to also boost your mood as well. Drawing. So I used to draw. I know a lot of friends that draw, and they use drawing as a way for them to de-stress and revitalize their day and mood. So drawing. So another coping mechanism that I have been practicing is also limiting myself on social media and electronic device. So what I do is I pull myself back to the present whenever I notice that I'm getting distracted with social media. So this practice takes a lot of mental strength in order for you to practice, but practice makes you perfect. The practice that I've been doing is the practice of being aware of what I'm doing. So I'm aware that whenever I'm on social media for about X amount of time, or I'm binging on social media, I started being aware of the fact that I am actually being pulled by social media. So this practice of awareness also helps you a lot in all aspects of life. This practice of awareness also helps me in reducing my binging on food, binging on television, binging on toxicity that I have been doing when I was in my stage of depression. I recommend, just to put a timer for about 10-15 minutes if you want to be on social media to connect with friends and family. That is important. A lot of you aren't able to see your family, or a lot of you are far away and can't see your family, and it is okay to be on social media and be on electronic devices, but don't overuse it, because let me tell you something. Fun fact: studies have shown that the overexposure to social media and electronic devices can lead to depression, because since we're always on social media and we see what we can't get, and we started getting the feeling of the fear of missing out. Like, we see our friends going out, we see our friends, visiting places, and we started wishing that we could be there. And we started getting FOMO, fear of missing out. We begin to wish and crave things that is unobtainable. So therefore, it leads us to feeling unfulfilled. So limiting social media and electronics are extremely important. Another coping mechanisms that I actually have been practicing is start cooking. So I started cooking from home, coming up with new recipes. I usually don't look on social media or anything, or Google for recipe. I just come up with it myself, because I find that cooking helps me de-stress. It is an art, and also at the same time it is very rewarding, because after you cook and after you finish the plate and after you eat it, you feel the sense of fulfillment, and you feel that you actually have accomplished something. And also, it's not a waste of time to cook, right? You're cooking, you're nourishing, you're taking care of your body. So that concludes this video, and that is some of the techniques I have been practicing, and I hope that these tips and techniques can help y'all in coping with the feeling of loneliness and the feeling of isolation. And another thing that I want to point out is to remember that you are your own friend. Make sure to befriend yourself first by being nice and compassionate with yourself, because by befriending yourself, you yourself are the best support system that you can ever have when feeling isolated. So thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, comment in the comment below which of the techniques that I have provided that fits and help you the most. And also don't forget to subscribe if you are new